All right. So, hi, everybody. Today's Monday Mindset training, I'm going to be joined by Thuy Melissa Dao. And I'm Francis of Big Impact Story, and I'm your host. So, this is a recorded session because Thuy is located in Poland, and the time zone difference is a bit big. And she would have wanted to join us live for the Monday Mindset training, but 6 p.m. is very late already in terms of the Polish time. So, but nonetheless, we're still here, and we're going to have a great conversation. And we want to share with you her knowledge and insights on how to be a composer of your life. Okay, so but before I formally introduce her to you, I just want to thank you all for being part of the Conscious Womenpreneurs Sisterhood Facebook group. And this is a community for empowered women who wants to be seen, to be heard, and to make an impact in the world through their stories. And every now and then, I will bring in guests like Thuy, and because I also want to be able to share with you what they know and to be able to help you also in your own journey, in your own entrepreneurial journey. All right, so my intention is really to be able to help you expand your consciousness and inspire you to take action and make your own mark in the world. All right, so if you find these sessions valuable, I invite you to share this and to people whom you feel can benefit from these sessions and invite them in the group. All right, so let me go right ahead and introduce you to my guest, Thuy Melissa Dao. She is a classically trained musician and an Ericksonian life coach. So she helps music lovers, and musicians find their inner music and share it with the world. So hi, Thuy, welcome, and thank you so much for saying yes to my invitation. So
Hello, Tess. Hello, everyone. Such an honor to be here with all of you. Thank
yes.
you for the invitation. And by the way, that's so funny what you said about this few hours difference. Just a few days ago, I had an interview with Vietnam and I did calculation with time and I totally did it backwards. So I ended up having interview at 2 a.m.
Oh, wow. Yes, it can be tricky. It can be a bit tricky. I think in here you're 6 hours ahead of us here in the
Yes.
States. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, we are here today, and I have you in the show, and I'm so happy that you said yes to me when I actually sent you an invite. Hey, Thuy, I think your topic is spot on, and this is something that I want the group to be able to learn from. So let's go ahead and start. I'm curious to know, and I know, I mean, you've told me this, but I want to know a little bit more about your story on how you came to do this work that you're currently doing as a life coach.
Yeah, my story, probably it started when I just was born into this world. Because where do I start? From what I remember, whatever I remember, since my childhood, I always had this question in me, why am I here? Maybe partially was because I always felt that there's more to life than what I was experiencing, even as a 6, 7-year-old. So that question was living in me for so long, for years, and I've been looking for answers. And I started with music. It was the closest to me. Well, my mom happened to have this passion for music because of her lost dream of playing violin. So she thought that, okay, so you know how with parents, they sometimes think that
Yes.
their children can make their dreams come true. So she had this dream for me that I would play piano. Luckily, I actually enjoyed piano. And that when I was next to the piano, I felt that it was the only place where I was feeling that I was at home. So that's the start of this search for this sense of being home. And then I was asking myself this question. Okay, so this is what feels to me like I'm in my proper place. Like I can feel this harmony, this beauty. And the moment I was walked toward life, then that would disappear. So my whole life was about, okay, so how can I make this, this sense of beauty and harmony last longer than just as I sit by the piano? And then how can I, and then later it became how I can bring it to others, how they can have that sense of harmony and beauty, and how can they experience this more of life. So that's kind of the start of this search and this story of me becoming a transformational life coach and working with what I say, music lovers. And when I say music lovers, what I really mean is, I mean, there are so many different ways of looking at music, and you know, music can be used for many, many purposes. But for me, when I say music lovers, music for me is this connection to the spirit, because that's how I primarily experience music. So if you really love music, truly, like this, have deep connection with music, you probably yearn for this beauty, this harmony that you can sense there, and this transformation, you know, that it goes from dissonance and it can resolve into something more beautiful, into a consonant. And that's this yearning is what I actually try to connect to, and that's what really the work is about. What is it if you're yearning for this beauty, this harmony, that then you have the potential to have it in your life.
I think that's what you said actually is just like really hitting home. I mean, even for me, especially when you said that when you play the piano, it's like it feels like you're home, right? It's like you have, you know, your place. You're in your place. But then it also like wanes away whenever you need to do something else, or you feel like it seems like you feel like disconnected to what you're meant to do. And that for you is really that being with the music, or being in the flow of your music, right? So I mean, for a lot of people, right, it's not, we're, I mean, we're always have to look for something like, what am I here for, right? The same question that you asked, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? For some of us, we don't have the piano. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that certain piano that we can just sit down there and then play. But we know deep down that we're here and we're meant to do something even bigger. So in your experience, how do you tap into that? How do you tap into that creativity that is lying dormant in some people?
Yeah. So first, let me like just start about this music, this inner music, because what I said really resonated also with something I want to share about having the piano or not having the piano.
Yeah.
Because even in my journey, I mean, you know, life always gives us the lesson for something, right? And in this journey of mine with music, like it's been really difficult for me, because when I was young, I would have this sense of being at home with music all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started being about 19, 20 years old, what I started experiencing was that I would have that sense and it would go away. Can you believe that? You know, I'm here like dedicating my life to music. I am at the university studying, majoring in music. And boom, one day I sit by the piano and I feel like I have nothing to say. Like there's nothing there. And at first it's like this feeling of, what do I do? You know, like this nervousness, anxiety, like, so how do I play anymore? It was always there and it's not there.
Mm.
And I had to learn actually to actually, and this is to tap into it. So that goes, tap into it. And actually it's not always for me that it's with music. Music is kind of a golden thread that's for me, that it's there and it comes back. But I realized that I had these gaps, and it could be like 3 years gap. It's not like 3 days. It could be 3 years or half a year that I would not have. I would sit by the piano and have nothing to play. I just feel like these are empty notes. And I would go to my teacher, the nurse. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I have nothing for you for the lesson right now, because it's going to be a waste of your time to listen to me. And I can either walk out or we can talk. And all my teachers were so loving in that they would be fine. But I think what really made it for me was my honesty. Like this dedication and honesty to find the truth. And when I was with music, I was with it 100%. But when it wasn't there, I was honest. I always had this question: so where is it? Where are you right now? Where is it that this inner voice is calling me to? And I would take it. Like, I would tell people that, okay, I'm not playing piano right now. I mean, there's no way of me pretending to play. But then I would quiet myself. Like, okay, is it the book that I want to read? And many times it was a time for me to do research. You know, like I would be like reading in this half a year that I wouldn't be playing piano. I would go and sit in the libraries all days and nights and would reading about music, about what music can mean, about spirituality, about all kind of religions. I mean, I went through so many religions just to understand the essence of it and how it's connected to music. And so this tapping into it, it has to do with this ability to find this stillness in these places when things shift in our lives. Yeah, because we would love to be always in the flow, right? Yeah. We'd love to be constant, never ending, and always feeling bliss. But if we live for a little bit in this life, we know that is not the case, that like you will be in the flow and then something disrupts it, and it's like, okay, it's not here anymore. And what do you do at this moment? And those are the moments where things are to move us to another level. And we need to be able to be honest with ourselves, what's going on, trust in the process itself, and really listen to our intuition. Where is it leading us? What excites us right now? And do we dare to do this? Or do we want to stick to something that feels old, but our mind says that we need to do, right? And for me, it was always this changing, like these places of changing. I had numerous people in my life telling me that, what are you doing? Why are you moving from one thing to the other? Why are you not sticking with music? What are you doing? Why are you doing parenting now? I mean, for years I've been training parents how to do parenting. I mean, it was because my daughter was young and it was my challenge. I learned this and I saw it was cool, and my heart felt like I want to share this. I spent like 3 years working with the parenting groups, and I started a movement that has now over 30,000 followers on Facebook.
That's amazing.
But then after 3 years, I just felt like I don't want to do it anymore. And, you know, like, again, like, why do you build things and leave it? But I'm just like, okay, there are so many trainers now doing that. I don't need to be there anymore. And my heart is calling me to another thing. So it's this ability to do things and listen and not try to grab to things just because you started that.
And listening to you, Thuy, I just love how you go with the flow in itself. So it just really is also like music, right? So I mean, you're saying that you don't want, or you don't force things to happen, or you don't want to be too attached to, let's say, becoming a musician. Right? But you actually allowed yourself to flow through your own life where you are asked to be at that certain point and at that certain moment. Like, for example, as a parent, right? You were raising a child, and you want to be able to share that with other parents, and you've grown a movement in the process, and that is impressive. So, and then right now it's this calling of the music again, of coming back into where you were before. And I think that's really something that not everybody, can recognize, right? Because all the time in our lives, it could be like we wanted to latch on or to hang on to, this is what I want and this is what I'm gonna get. And
Mhm.
there's always that, no matter the competition, or just keep on, like a bull, just keep on charging.
Yeah.
But what does happen if one takes takes a seat and
Mhm.
takes a step backward, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and to allow yourself to just be still and listen to what comes out.
Yeah, I think there's this misinterpretation of the word commitment in our society, and this word is used and misused by so many, because it's like if someone wants to do something, they will, you need to be committed, or they will tell you you
Yeah,
are not committed.
yeah.
And you feel so guilty, right? Because like commitment is good. But the question is, what are you committed to? Like, are you committed to yourself, like to truly like your
Mm-hmm.
higher self,
Mm-hmm.
your purpose, your life purpose? Or are you committed to somebody's ideas or your ego's ideas about how it wants to be the best or how it wants to earn the most money? Money is very important, but it's how you look at it, right? And so if you are committed, and so like it took me a while to understand this commitment, but now it's so clear to me, what is this commitment about? And like, don't let yourself be misguided by other people who's like, you need to be committed to what you're doing. You need to be committed to your inner voice, to your inner guidance. And that's many times is not what other things that you should be doing, or even not what your head thinks that you
Yeah,
should be.
yeah. I love that. Like, commitment in itself. I love it. It made me think also, like, what am I really committed to? Is it the commitment to, um, what's this? Get as many clients as possible, as a coach. It's like, is it a commitment to, um, having the most amount of sales, wherever you are in this industry? Or is it a commitment to that is connected to what you believe in, the values that you uphold in yourself? So that makes it different. Like your actions, when you act based on that commitment to your values, is different than when you're only just committed to the external benefits and rewards that come with it. I mean, it's good, right, if you do have it, but the thing is, it does change the way you also uh, connect and deal with people.
Yes, yes. And I've worked a lot with people who actually needed money and help them to get their money. But the way we usually look at
Mm-hmm.
money is very different from this mainstream business where you go and earn money, you need to have a strategy, and
Yeah.
uh, I always tell my clients that, so what you are here to do is to discover your gifts and share your gifts in the world. So if you want money, then the moment we discover that gift and you are committed to share that gift, so it's a contribution to a bigger whole, money will come. And I do have this 9-month process that I've been working with clients for 8 years. And we have, I mean, every time I think that, oh, we have a lot of luck, but it's been for now like 100% success. And it's always about focusing on your contribution, focusing on everyone's contribution, how you can contribute. That's always the question. And then commitment that we want to do this. And we would actually sit down and, okay, so is this what you want to do with your life? Is this how you feel that you want to contribute? So now, can you give some proof that you really mean what you say by acting? So what can
Yeah.
you do? And then comes the action, right? But the action that comes from the sense of your passion, the sense of this inner music that is playing in you. And then when they would start doing it, always the money would come. And it's really amazes me, because sometimes clients come and I actually at first have no idea how I can help them, because many times they need a lot of money. And then but then I just say, okay, so this is the process. Everyone has the gift. That's like the given for me. Okay, everyone has the, even if I can see it with my eyes, I just assumption everyone, even this person who's coming here has a gift, even if I can't see it. So if we really sit down, and throughout the years, I collected a lot of tools to help the people actually discover those in the music they have. Like some of it has to do with like them listening to music in a certain way that will help them connect. Some has to do with looking at different pictures that will bring things in them. And some has to do actually with astrology, looking at their birth chart. And then, like, because there are many people actually who come who have been so conditioned by life, by parents, by people around, that they are not able to connect. I mean, it always feels like a huge mess in their mind, and nothing seems to be their real voice. And it would take a long time to actually go through all of this, you know, like therapies take a long time, many times, right? Or even if we look at those in the archetypical way, or for them to decipher, it will take a lot. And many times, like, what I see is that, okay, I look at the chart and I say, okay, because there are always 4 archetypes that are the main archetypes of our lives, and they contain our 4 primary gifts. And many times, if we are blocked in our life, it's one of their archetypes that's working, then we are in their shadow. So the moment I see it, and then we start actually, I just point their attention to that and work that through, then they start opening up. And when that happens, then the gifts comes out. We see what they can do. It's just start opening up, you know, like those ideas, like the intuition that wasn't there before, because everything was from outside. The moment you are working through and transform that shadow, it becomes a gift, which means that you already have something in your hand right now in the state. It's like a node that is in tune. Yeah, it's not out of tune anymore. Because if you look at this, like in yourself, and you see everything is out of tune, because I mean, many times we come with things that are out of tunes, and our job is to tune ourselves, right? So once you work with the shadow, which means that it's like in music, because you tune your instrument, right? Then you start being able to play it, and then you say, oh, it sounds good now. Before I didn't even want to play because it sounds chaotic, you know, it sounds horrible. So I'd rather listen to someone else and take someone else's ideas. But now we turn in, we tune it, and then it starts coming in. And then also like everything else that resonating with that in tune music.
I love the analogy of tuning that it's your inner the inner music in you, and whatever it is in there that is fully out of tune. How do you make it to make it like in tune, and really be able to produce that good music that you want to hear?
You never want to throw away one note because it's out of tune, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
We usually want to do it ourselves. I mean, something doesn't work and we just want to get rid of it. But then, like, the system stops working.
So you need that. You need that out of tune, the note, right, for you to be able to play it well, or to play it properly.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that there are only 4 main notes for each of us. So if we look at those 4, then it's 70% of our makeup. Like we have like a lot of it, and the rest is very easily tuned to. Like, you know, if you have a lot of things in tune, the other things get into
a little bit like out.
Everything is out
of whack.
Yeah.
So what are so you mentioned about the shadow. What are the other 3 like archetypes?
I mean, the shadow is in all of the archetypes.
Okay.
Each person has a different archetype, so it's hard for me to say what they are because
Oh,
for
all
you
right.
they're different than for me. And like for me, one of my main archetypes is leadership. I'll
Oh,
share it.
okay.
Leadership is my like primary archetype, and the shadow of my archetype is arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
And and the essence of my archetypes is humility. So what I realized, and the moment I started working with this, like it so shifted my life when I became aware of this shadow. And the thing is this, is that if when you have something as your main archetypes, one of these four archetypes, it's your life work. I mean, it's not something that it's done.
Yeah.
No, it's your. But when you start working with it, you start opening up more and more light. So what happens is that the moment I understood that what is arrogance? Arrogance is you comparing yourself always to the other person, and you feel worse or you feel better, worse or better. Humility is kind of that you are a part of the whole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there you are a part, and you are here to contribute, to lead from this sense of connection to the whole. But the thing is that when it's your archetype, it doesn't mean that when you work it through once and it's always forever, that this shadow is never going to appear. That's many people want it, and they work. That's for many people, like that's the way they work with archetype. I've worked through this, and now I shouldn't be feeling this. And when it comes back, they are feeling like they don't want to look at it, or they feel guilty. That's again. But if it's your main archetype, you should be happy when it comes. It's only that don't act on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's with the shadow. It's like when you have the awareness of them, just sit still and bring the light of awareness, but don't act on this shadow. And the moment I learned the process to work with this huge part of my kind of genetic
Mm-hmm.
archetype, genetic makeup, I would say, right? I saw a lot of other things start shifting. It's kind of like one big chunk started shifting and moving into a gift frequency, and everything else, like the smaller things, just goes after it. Whereas when I was working on like all the other things,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like a forever work. It's like, but yeah, but once these main archetypes, it's really like, for me it works wonder. Yeah.
That's
And
interesting. I want to
yeah.
learn more about that. I want to learn more about you, about these archetypes. Because I work also with story, and there are also like some archetypes that we use in learning to identify yourself in terms of branding, at least.
Yes.
That's on that sense. But I'm pretty sure that there's always, like, also like you mentioned, there is a shadow in all of these things, and like the yin, there's always the yang, right? So there has to be some sort of balance, but at the same time, like you mentioned, it's about recognizing, right, what this shadow is. And once you are able to identify that, then you can now take the steps in order to be able to probably like do something that can forward you in your life, and not just be stuck on the shadow part, because
Yeah.
maybe that's where you are, right? It can't seem that you feel like you're stuck, and you can't seem to move forward. So yeah, that's great, thank
And
you for sharing that.
the gift is always in the shadow itself.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the thing. Like with music, if you listen, like when there's a masterpiece, nothing gets
Mm-hmm.
thrown away. Everything's connected. So you go through this dissonant shadow states that transform itself into something beautiful. It's not that the composer takes this away and throws away
Mm-hmm. Throw
and
it
just
away.
like with things that are beautiful by themselves, because that's not music.
Yeah, that's yeah, thank you for pointing that out, that indeed the gift comes from the shadow, and we do need that shadow, right? It's just not be staying there for a long
Yeah,
time.
right. Yeah. And
So
I do this process with working with shadow that I actually sent you the way of the mirror that I want to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, this is the process that that is so easy. And if you're familiar with the work of Byron Katie
Yes,
or
yes.
Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now,
Uh-huh.
kind of thing, this is kind of a similar work. It's different, but with similar aim. But for me, because I'm a kinesthetic person, like
Mm-hmm.
working too much with my mind, it's not doesn't work so much for me as actually moving into sensing. So I actually came up with this process, the way of the mirror, and I realized that at first it takes a while to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
It does take some discipline to actually learn the sensing of the process, what it means to be a mirror. You need to learn to become a mirror yourself. But then once you got it, you know, it's so fast in transforming. Like I actually see my inner mirror inside, that every time I feel the shadow, I can actually turn it toward the shadow, and the mirror is like magically works with it. And it's, yeah.
It just flows. So for those of you who are wondering like what the way of the mirror is, Thuy has this free gift that she is giving away, and I am going to post the link to that gift, and you can check it out yourself and practice it, and let us know like what comes out of that, right? So that's the way of the mirror. And so Thuy, I know you've been working with several clients already, and I know that you have started to like really be able to help them bring out that inner music, you know, that is in there somewhere for those clients. I wonder if you want to share with us some stories about the transformation that some of them have gone through.
Yeah. So like some of my clients come, like some clients come with a very clear sense of what their inner music is. They just want to be able to actually start expressing it, actually moving into action and doing it. And that's, this process comes more easily when they actually know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we do is, I've had a client last year that I worked with, and she knew that she wanted to work with people and switch her career into becoming a psychologist. But then I asked, have you done anything toward that? No, she hasn't done it. So the thing is, just I said before, it's a commitment, right? If you have a yearning to it, then you need to commit 100% that this is what I'm doing. And once there's this commitment for now, that's what you're doing, then we actually start asking, actually she starts asking herself, so what can she do? What's her next step?
Yeah.
And very soon it appeared that she could join some workshop where she could actually be an assistant to actually start feeling how it feels to work with people in this psychological, you know, kind of setting, working, leading workshops there. And because, so this change of a career usually comes with that you need to go to the university, right? You need to go to
Right.
study. It comes with money and being able to get to the university you want to go to. So, so we started this process, and she actually got accepted to Chicago University just 2 months later, which is one of the best universities in the United States, right? University of Chicago. So, and she's pursuing what she loves to do, you know, and she also plays piano. And yeah, and this, that commitment, and this is like key to it, that once you commit it, you start asking and magnetizing this. What's my next step? What can I do? Because your action will show your commitment, right? If you commit, you say that I do this, and you sit, and then you do nothing. It's usually means that you are not totally committed to what you're saying, right? So like with actually, it's not only her, each client at one point, once they know what they want, it's about moving them into action, like this trust that if you do it, then you'll get what you need. Doesn't matter that you don't know how it's going to come or from where it's going to come. So that's when someone comes with a direction. And 3 years ago, I had another client, and this one came to me with no sense of direction. And we started looking into it, and he was like into his passion, what he wanted to do, like all kinds of things, from wanting to be a cook to wanting to draw, to wanting to liking some psychology, you know, a lot of things. And it was so difficult to put it together. And at one point, like I started asking, what is this, like trying to figure out this pattern of what's going on and what's blocking like his real clarity. And what came out was that he had this archetype that was working, that he wanted to be powerful, but he wasn't accepting his vulnerability. So life would throw him a lot of challenges that he would fail at. But then he wanted to be powerful. So he would kind of he wasn't honest with himself that he failed. I mean, that it didn't work, maybe, okay? That it didn't work at that. And so, and there was something, but then the next thing would come and something again would go wrong. And once we look at this and we figure out that, can you accept your feelings at this moment? Like, you don't need to be strong, right? You don't need to start interpreting it right away. Like, what are they? You know, here comes like the power of vulnerability. Yeah, Brené Brown, and I started asking to actually watch her, like read her books, and that's when his transformation came about, because it was his superpower, being vulnerable. And once that happened, the resources then start coming to him. He didn't see too far ahead, but he was able to move forward. He got the money he needed to go forward to do what he wanted to do, which was amazing because it was actually a lot of money, and I didn't know at first like how it's gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thuy, I love your passion and the energy you bring into in that, you know, that I think it's also like your own vulnerability that you're willing to show to them, and this is actually you're showing it right now as we talk, and I just love it. Like, you know, it's tangible, it's there, and I'm not surprised like why people come to you and actually ask for your help in terms of really finding themselves. So when we say inner music, for those who are not like musicians, you know, or they love music but not, you know, to the extent that they could really say that, hey, you know, I'm passionate about music or something like that. So the inner music is really about their gifts, right?
Yeah.
What tapping into that
It's
and being able to,
sense of being on purpose, of having this
right?
song inside that you are
Ah,
here
I
to.
love that, the song inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's how to like bringing it out, and also you know, finding that voice, right? If we spend our lives not speaking up, or just, you know, holding ourselves back, and tapping into this as we call it here, it's the inner music, and allowing it to be released out into the world, and just liberate and free yourself from whatever
Yeah,
it is
at
that's
first it is a
stopping
very
you.
vulnerable process. It's really,
Yes.
yeah, it's really opening yourself up to the unknown.
Yeah, and it's scary.
Yeah,
it can
like
be
limiting
scary.
everything that you know until now and kind of
Yeah.
trusting, going inside and seeing what's in there.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
it's really challenging it too, and challenging yourself in a way also, at the same time being compassionate to where you are and what
Yeah.
what you're, where you are in the moment, and
Yes.
just allowing to know also where you're
Mhm.
being led without
Yeah.
forcing.
Yeah.
So
And like this really process came to me really also about, because I've always felt my inner song. I wasn't able to fully express it, but I felt. But then I had some people coming to me and say, I don't have no idea what it is. I just feel awful they're here. And it was my question to life. How can I help those people see and actually tap into something they've never actually truly experienced in themselves? That's how I started getting those answers to how to do it, and that it's possible, and that how to do it, and also in my process, like how to make it more. I had time when it was an enjoyable process for me, right?
yeah,
Right now I enjoy each step because I've learned how to do this. But there was time when I was like rushing that
right,
I really want to be at the finish line.
yeah,
And then my question was also, okay, so how do I enjoy it, and how do I help people enjoy the process? And now I see that this process can be totally enjoyable, like no matter where you are. The gifts of starting trusting in this inner music and going step by step in itself can be so rewarding. You don't need to have the
yeah.
whole piece already composed, right?
I love it. That, the masterpiece, right? So that in itself um, is a process.
Yeah, and
So
if
you don't just compose a masterpiece outright, right? So your life in itself, it's a masterpiece,
yeah,
and it's totally going to be up to you how you want to to create it, right? It's how to be the composers, how to compose that
yeah.
masterpiece of your life.
That's
Yeah,
right. Listen and then bring it out. I mean, the best composers are the ones that could listen and then to this inner vibration and then bring it out of music. It's not that they come up with their mind. It's only
yeah,
some people do that, but it's like the true music, the ones that stands the time and that comes really from deep inside.
yeah,
It's kind of connection to something bigger and bringing it out.
yeah,
And the same with our lives, that we are here to bring out something bigger from another plane and kind of put it into this 3D reality. It's about creativity, right? We're creating something
yeah,
actually new that hasn't been there in this way before. So there's going to be some mutation to to the things that we
yeah. It's good that you actually mentioned that it's not really just about the mind, but
yes,
music is actually really very somatic. It's feeling, right? It's coming from deep,
yes.
really deep down in you, and you feel that vibrations even in your body. So
Mm-hmm.
just listening to that, and actually really listen, right? And allow that experience of music. And
Mm-hmm.
where is it, like what emotions come up for you? So that's the language of music, right?
Yeah.
It's really the language of the soul. So it doesn't matter what language you speak, but when you
Mm-hmm.
listen to music, the experience, right, you
Yeah.
experience it together. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where the beauty lies. And with that, I know you're going to share with us or play with us a song or a tune, because you're in your piano. I said, so why
I'm,
not just
I'm sitting here next to the
why not
piano.
let us experience your music and share it with us? Okay.
So I'm going to be playing Chopin's Raindrop Prelude, and this is dedicated to every place in the world that needs some drops of rain.
Oh, I love that.
That's why I did this piece in the last few days.
Beautiful.
And it's also dedicated to you.
Oh,
Because the rain, water is about emotions, right?
yeah,
And it also cleanses you.
love it. Oh, that was really beautiful, Thuy. Oh, I love it. Whew. Wow. Thank you so much for that gift. Um, I think,
Thank you so
yeah,
much for sharing
we
this
need
gift.
that. Yeah. And just to, I'm just listening to you and I'm like really trying to, experience what's that feeling that comes up for me. And it really does about, about the body, not so much about the mind.
Yeah.
It's to feel the music. And so with this, I wanted to say thank you again for being here and for this wonderful opportunity that I have to actually be talking to you about music, about life, about, so all of these things in this conversation, I'm really, really grateful. And so for those who are interested to work with you or wondering where they can find you, how do they do that? How do they reach you?
So as we mentioned, the give the way of the mirror.
Yes.
If if you find that it was interesting and want to learn more about what I've told you this time, you can download and go to this link. And if you download this book, at the end, there's my email address, and there's also a link to the Facebook group where I share over there a lot of my music and also ideas about how to bring this music about. So yeah, it would be wonderful to actually invite you into that community, because I think that Frances and we have very
Yeah.
similar yet different yet very aligned
Right. Yeah.
work that we do.
And it's always great to have people are the same, like-minded people,
Yeah.
right? That because I mean our intention is pretty much the same. Really,
Yes.
it's to help people extract the gifts that they have and be able to share it to the world. And so
Mhm.
I am again, thank you for being here and for sharing with us your own gift to the group and to everyone else who is listening right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say so much thank you to you, Frances. It's so much better talking to you than talking to the camera on my phone.
I know what you mean. That's why I said let's bring, it's nice to have to invite a guest here so that to have an actual, person to talk to. And yeah, I totally get you. All right. Okay. So that is it. And thank you all so much for those of you who have watched this. Feel free to share this with those who you feel can benefit from what we discuss here in the show. All right. So I hope you all have a wonderful day wherever you are in this in the world, and see you again next Monday. And thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.